students. Today from history we are going to begin a new chapter, the rise of a nationalism in Europe. So let's begin it. Nationalism emerged as a major force in the 19th century, which brought about sweeping changes in Europe. The end result of all these changes was the emergence of the nation state in place of the dynastic empires of Europe. The concept of a modern state had been developing over a long period of time in Europe. A nation is a culmination of a long past of sacrifice and devotion. A nation state is one in which a majority of its citizens come to develop a sense of shared history and a common identity. This commonness is forced through struggles, through actions of leaders and common people. Now the first topic of discussion here is the French Revolution and the idea of nation. Already French Revolution you read in class 9. The French Revolution that took place in the year 1789 was a world-shaking event. The French Revolution was the first clear expression of nationalism. It led to the violent rejection of the old system of society and government. It unleashed the principles of liberty, equality, and fraternity with an utmost desire for a new socio-political order. The revolution brought far-reaching changes in Europe and paved the way for the revolutions in other countries of Europe. The revolutionary French offered fraternity and assistance to all people who, like the French, wish to assert their liberty. Occupation of any territory by the French armies, they declared, would be accompanied by the ending of feudal obligation and confiscation of clerical and aristocratic property. French Revolution gave a clear meaning of the word nationalism in 1789. From this French Revolution, the meaning of nationalism we came to know properly. France was a nation state in 1789, ruled by absolute monarch Louis XVI. The political and the constitutional changes that came with the outbreak of this revolution led to the overthrow of monarchy, and sovereign power came into the hands of the French citizen. The revolution proclaimed that henceforth the people would constitute the nation and shape its destiny. The French revolutionaries introduced various measures and practices that would create a sense of collective identity or collective belonging among the French people, like as you got in class 9 book, the idea of les patries and les citoyens emerged. It implied that all people will enjoy the equal rights under the constitution. A new French flag was chosen to replace the former royal standard. The Estates General renamed as the National Assembly, and it was to be elected by a body of active citizens. New hymns were composed and oaths were taken in the name of the nation. Then a centralized administrative system formulated uniform laws for all citizens within its territory. Then internal custom duties and dues were abolished, and then uniform system of weights and measures were introduced or adopted. Then French that was spoken and written in Paris became the common language of the entire nation. This French Revolution had lots more legacy also. France within her own territories had ended feudalism, destroyed royal authority, and founded new institutions on the principles of sovereignty of the people and equality. The old institutions which had been overthrown by France remained in the countries of the continent. The revolutionaries declared that it was the aim of the French people to liberate the people of Europe from despotism. In other words, help them to become nation. When the news of these events in France reached other European countries, students, educated middle class people started setting up Jacobin class. Their activities and campaigns prepared the way for the French armies which entered Holland, Belgium, Switzerland, and much of the Italy in the 1790s. When the Revolutionary War began, the French armies carried the idea of nationalism to other countries. The wars conducted by Napoleon on the continent brought large territories under his control. He introduced reforms that he had introduced in France. Although democracy was destroyed when Napoleon came to power, but he introduced revolutionary principles in the field of administration. Till this much today. Thank you.